Maybe you can explain it to me more tomorrow. For now, we have to clean off our desk because Principal Colts is going to come in and talk to us. I know all about principals. My friend Billy from around the corner, who was in second grade last year, told me that the principal is like the king of the school. He runs everything. Billy says that if you break the rules, you have to go to the principal's office, which is in a dungeon down the basement. Kids in the dungeon get locked up and are forced to listen to their parents' old CDs for hours. It must be horrible. Miss Daisy told us to be our best Miss Daisy told us to be on our best behavior so Principal Colts would see how mature we are. We were. Finally, he walked into our room. Welcome to the second grade, he said cheerfully. I am sure we are all going to have a wonderful year together. Principal Colt said a lot of stuff about the rules of the school. We're not allowed to run in the halls. We're not allowed to chew gum. Stuff like that. But I wasn't listening very closely because I kept staring at his head. He had no hair at all. I mean, none. His head looked like a giant egg. When Principal Colt was all done telling us the rules of the school, he asked if anybody had a question about what he had said. Did all your hair fall out of your head? I asked. Or did you cut it off? Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Miss Daisy looked at me with a mean face. Actually, it was both, Principal Colts replied with a chuckle. Almost all of my hair fell out on its own, so I decided to shave it off. That's the saddest story I've ever heard, said this girl named Emily, and she burst into tears. Don't feel bad, Principal Colt said. I don't have It could have been a lot worse. How? Sniffled Emily. Well, at least my brain didn't fall out of my head. We all laughed, even Emily. Principal Colt was a pretty funny guy for a principal. Any other questions? Do you have a dungeon down in the basement where you put all the kids? I asked. Actually, the dungeon is on the third floor, Principal Colt replied. Nobody laughed this time. He quickly told us that he was just making a joke and that he didn't even have a dungeon at all. Principal Colt must have had Principal Colt must have felt bad that we didn't think his joke was funny because he invited us all up to the front of the classroom to touch his bald head. We did, and that made we did, and that made we did, and that made everybody feel a lot better. Principal Colt seemed nice, but a lot of the people seem nice when you first meet them. Then later you find out that they are evil villains who plan to take over the world. I bet he was lying about the dungeon.